Recently, Hearthstone patch 4.2.0 was released, and yes, this is the right time to comment about the name and number of the patch. Well, the big change is the thing that everyone's asked for 2 years. It's finally in. Now there is a button. After 2 years of hard research, we've discovered that the best way to make this Hearthstone deck screen go to 9 more deck slots is a handy button right there and there. It used to be here and here, which probably would have also worked, but I'm sure that ample market testing has decided that this is the right place for it. And now you can have 18 decks. Wow. You might have noticed that this button, Wild, can now be clicked, so that's how you're going to end up changing from Wild to Standard when the new expansion comes out and when Standard comes out. That's how you're going to rotate between Standard and Wild. I actually don't think that's very clear, but everyone's going to be Wild by default, and you can just change it to Standard. Here's a small thing, too, while we're at it. So when you're on the play screen, you can now press My Collection to go make a deck, and then when you're done making the deck, you can just press back and go back to play, saving you 3 clicks, because normally you would have to go from My Collection, then press back, and then press play. Now it saves you 2 clicks, but that's a value 2-click save. Back in my day, when you needed to make a new deck in solo adventures, and you had just lost to an unfair boss, here's the usual process you'd do. You'd go to My Collection, you'd build a deck, you'd press back, 1 click, you'd go to Solo Adventures, 2 clicks, you'd go to this thing. Sometimes if this isn't selected, you have to select that, 3 clicks, you choose that, 4 clicks, press choose, 5 clicks, you click on the boss, 6 clicks, you press choose, 7 clicks. But hey, now, all you have to do is just go My Collection, build your deck, and then press back. And then there you are. Brilliant. It shows the 18 decks over here as well. The slider goes all the way down here. Wow, incredible. Speaking of new deck technology, now whenever you make a new deck, there's some deck recipes going on. There's some pre-constructed decks which aren't as good as decks that you can look up, but they're a really good baseline starting way to go, especially the classic ones. These classic decks just generally have good cards in them and are actually really good ways to start, similar to how I would build some basic decks myself. So I think that's a really good way to start off learning without just throwing you into the starting completely fresh. And if you don't have all the cards, the game is more intelligent in suggesting replacements. For example, I actually don't own Prophet Valen. If I click replace cards here, it's going to decide to replace Prophet Valen with a big card, like perhaps Emperor Thoris or Argent Commander. There's a bit of randomness in this. I don't think these 2 cards are as good as the cards initially replaced it with the first time I had it. Like, hey, Dr. Boom, that's a good replacement. Or Ragnaros, that's a good replacement. Baron Geddon, that's probably pretty decent too. So, Strike with the Shadows. A Face Priest deck. Brilliant. The deck recipes, along with, of course, being a good resource for having a quick baseline deck to build, also give a little bit of a hint on what cards might be nerfed coming up. For example, Classic Druid is notably missing Ancient of Lore, which would have been thought of as a really good classic card to put in an AIM deck. It is also notably missing Force of Nature Savage Roar. In Ferocious Beasts, there's only 1 Savage Roar in this deck and no Force of Nature, and in overwhelming numbers, there are 2 Savage Roar but no Force of Nature, which is a card that you would have expected to be put into a deck with a lot of cards in it to have Force of Nature and Savage Roar. Other hints that have been kind of here and there are in Classic Handluck, there's no Owl, even though there are 2 Ancient Watchers. Owl is a card that has been hypothesized as possibly being limiting in scope, because it just so overall handled so many cards. Notably, there's a big game hunter in this deck, though. There's also now new cool ways to search for cards. For example, one thing that's long been asked for is searching for golden cards. So now you can disenchant some golden cards if you wish to. For example, I'm about to make a bank by disenchanting my useless Dalaran Mage. That's actually basic. But I'm about to make bank by disenchanting my Lights Champion, which is golden. That's 100 dust in the bank. Yeah. And if the new expansion comes up with some brilliant demon that needs Lights Champion, then too bad for me. Other cool things you can search for now include health : 6, or any number, and then you can find all the minions in the game that have 6 health. You can even do health : 6 to 8, and then you'll get everything that has a health of between 6 and 8. That also counts for attack 1, or attack that's useful for Hobgoblin, or attack 1 to 3, or you can do mana 4 to 7, or like very useful to do like 6 to 7, I guess, to see all your big cards which aren't huge, or 6 to 10, and then that's when you can look up all the cool stuff at the end. Now, if you really want to get fancy, and there's going to be a official Blizzard release on all these search terms that you can do, you can mix and match the searches with something like attack 2 and health 2, and then you can find every minion in the game that's a 2/2. And then like mana 3, and then you get all the 3 mana 2/2s. Incredible technology. Another small search note. Sometimes I searched for Alexstrasza, and I type in Alex because who knows how to spell Alexstrasza, right? And then all these random cards would come up because turns out that a guy named Alex made a lot of these cards. But now it just comes with Alexstrasza's champion, Alex, probably how you wanted to have it. But don't worry, if you still want to search for all the beautiful art made by Alex Horley Orlandelli, you can search for artist : Alex. And then that pesky Alexstrasza card doesn't come up. Wow, Alex has made a few cards there. In the crafting screen, you can also search for missing and note all the cards that you are missing. I myself have mostly a full collection at this point. Except the really bad cards. And Malagas, which I have a legendary version of. Now you can also disenchant cards from adventures. So if you've done Naxxramas, and there are some cards here that you think will never see the light of play, such as my Ixna, then you can get your free 400 Gust. Nice. That also counts for cards from the recent expansions. I believe for the recent expansions, though, you cannot craft them still until you've actually gotten the adventure. So make sure you don't disenchant something that you'll later regret, and then you'll have to craft it again. But hey, if you need that 400 dust, Majordomo is possibly your man. We've also got a new hero portrait in here.
I will serve for Shatra.
Or a new hero, I should say, Lady Liadrin, who was obtained by leveling up a new World of Warcraft character up to 20. So old ones don't count. And I believe if you have someone who's level 19 just laying around and you gain the level, and then you will also get Lady Liadrin. So that's a cool cross promotion. It's free to get the free trial of World of Warcraft, which will be enough to get you to level 20.
My hammer burns with holy fire. My sincerest thanks. Well played. Ah, hello, challenger. Ah, apologies. An error, to be sure. You will pay for that, cur! Burn! Options. Should I... Let's move. Your win, friend. I concede.
This patch is also a little bit of a preparation for making sure that there's even more notification that Standard is coming in soon. So Goblins vs. Gnomes has a notification that it's leaving the shop soon, so that newer players aren't going to make the mistake of buying these packs if they want to play Standard. As well as in Adventure, Naxxramas is leaving the shop soon, because when Standard rolls around, when the new expansion comes out, late April, early May, then Naxxramas and Goblins vs. Gnomes will not be in Standard. Along the same lines of promotions, that Whispers of the Old Gods is now in the shop. You can get 50 packs for $49.99, which is the fancy marketing term to make you think that's under $50. Along with the packs, you get the really cool card back, one of the best card backs they've done. Very creepy. One of the unmarked patch note changes is Reno Jackson now has a gold border around it when you can play it. So here I am in the Shaman Arena, and I have 2 Totem Golems in the deck, but since I've already played one, Reno Jackson is golden. So, cool. Another one of the patch changes, kind of unannounced and very subtle, is that whenever you pick an arena card, the sound effect is much less pronounced. Instead of the clang, it's more of a ting. So if you were wondering what that huge 1+ gigabyte patch was for, that's all the small things and a few optimization things probably, and inserting a few new brawls. For example, Rafam versus... crap, I forgot the name. Rafam versus Kel'Thuzad. Coming soon.